So today we're diving into this really fascinating way of looking at history, a kind of cosmic map. It connects figures you know, like Pharaoh and Solomon, not as just one-off events, but as patterns. Patterns in a huge repeating cycle. And the most interesting part? It suggests that our own lives are playing out on this very same map.
Okay, so let's just start with a big, provocative question. What if all those stories we know, of prophets and kings, of incredible pride and profound submission, what if they aren't just things that happened way back when? What if they're actually part of a story that's looping over and over again, unfolding right now, inside every single one of us?
So where does this huge cosmic story even begin? Well, according to this framework, it all starts in the smallest, most intimate place imaginable, the human heart. It's seen as this barrier, a meeting point between two massive, opposing spiritual worlds that shape every single choice we make.
And here they are, the two fundamental forces at play. On one side, you've got the sea of light. This is the source of all mercy, all real knowledge, and it's what pulls us towards submission to something greater than ourselves. But right next to it, on the other side, is the sea of fire, the wellspring of pride, illusion, and the kind of thinking that leads to tyranny. And the barrier between them? That's us. Our heart is literally the shoreline where these two incredible oceans meet.
Okay, to really get this internal dynamic, we need to know two key terms. The first one is the Ruh, or the spirit. Think of this as your higher self, right? It's that spiritual core that is just naturally pulled towards the sea of light. It's the part of you that craves truth, that wants mercy, that seeks a connection to a higher reality.
And on the flip side, you have its counterpart, the nafs, or the ego self. This is our lower self, the part of us that's constantly being tested by that sea of fire. It's where our pride lives, our illusions, our raw desires. So the whole game, the whole struggle between these two seas, is fought on the battlefield of our own self.
All right, so let's take this internal battle and see how it explodes onto the world stage. The first huge example is what these sources call the House of Fire. Imagine a whole civilization built on a foundation of pure arrogance, symbolized by a man-made mountain of pride.
And this is just a perfect illustration of that conflict. You have Pharaoh, who completely embodies the nafs. He's so consumed by the sea of fire that he actually claims he's God. That's the ultimate act of pride. But right there, living in his own house, is his wife, Asya. She is the Ruh. She's a secret believer, a single point of light living in the very heart of the fire. And in the end, his tyranny, his fire drowns him, while her submission, her light, saves her.
Okay, now let's flip the script and look at the total opposite, the House of Light. This isn't a kingdom built on ego. It's built on divine wisdom and submission. It's an elevated mountain, made not from earthly pride, but from heavenly scripture. And this is the perfect mirror image, right? Solomon never claims to be God. His power comes from his submission to God. He rules with wisdom, which is just a reflection of the Sea of Light. Then he meets Bilqis, the Queen of Sheba, and she represents a soul that is actively looking for truth. When she sees the light in Solomon's kingdom, she submits, and her own fire is converted into light. The outcome here isn't destruction, it's true leadership and faith put on a throne. So we've got these two massive opposing forces, fire and light. But where do they meet? How is this conflict ever resolved? Well, this map points to one central figure who acts as the axis for the whole system. Ibrahim, or as you might know him, Abraham.
He's called the friend of Allah for a reason. It's because he passes every single one of these cosmic tests. He's the one who stands right in the center and manages to integrate all these opposing forces within himself. He doesn't just pick a side, he masters the entire map.
And just look at how his story literally pulls all the key elements together. He builds the Kaaba, which is called the House of Return, a place of safety. He faces the Sea of Fire head-on when he's thrown into a giant fire, but it's made cool for him. And his family is saved by a miraculous spring of water in the middle of the desert. See, Abraham is the central point where fire, water, and earth are all brought into harmony through perfect submission. He creates the safe center of the map.
Okay, so now that we have these key players on the board, Pharaoh, Solomon, Ibrahim, we can finally zoom out and see the grand pattern. These aren't just separate stories happening on a straight timeline. No, they're key moments in a repeating cosmic cycle. Think of it like a Mobius loop of time, where the end is always folding back to become a new beginning.
So this is the crucial takeaway right here. The story doesn't just move forward into the unknown. It circles back on itself.
Each cycle builds on the last one, but it repeats the same fundamental test, the test of pride versus submission, just in new and different forms.
This timeline really lays out the whole cosmic circuit. It all kicks off with a refusal, an act born of pride. That pride then becomes the tyranny of Pharaoh, which is eventually overcome by water. Then you have the establishment of wisdom through Solomon's rule. This is followed by the central act of submission, when Abraham builds that axis of return. This act of centering then allows for a miraculous rebirth. And finally, the whole test, the entire cycle is sealed. Each event just flows perfectly into the next, forming one complete, clean circuit.
So why does any of this matter to you and me? Well, this quote brings it all home. We're not just watching this cosmic drama from the sidelines. We are active participants. Every single one of us is a soul that's been dropped right into this same trial ground, facing the same basic choice. Are we going to repair our own internal circuit and return as light? Or are we going to get caught in the loop of pride and be consumed by the fire?
And that really leaves us with the ultimate question that this whole framework poses. This isn't a map of the past. It's a map of a choice that exists for you in every single moment. In the great unfolding of the two seas that are flowing inside of you right now, which tide will you follow?